Turkey controls one of the most important locations on Earth. It connects Europe to Asia. It sits between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, and it stands at the crossroad of Russia and the Middle East and Europe. Yet, despite this extraordinary geography, Turkey has never truly become a global superpower. But today, something unusual is happening. Turkey is expanding its military, building advanced drones, projecting influences across multiple regions, and increasingly pursuing an independent foreign policy. Some even believe Turkey is trying to revive its old imperial influence. So, why does Turkey want to become a superpower? And can it actually achieve that ambition? For more than 6 centuries, the Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful empires in the world. At its peak, it controlled Southeast Europe, the Middle East, North Africa. Constantinople, now Istanbul, became one of the history's greatest cities. But after World War I, the empire collapsed. Modern Turkey emerged under Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. For decades, Turkey focused inward. It prioritized stability over expansion. But history leaves memories, and many Turks still view their country as a civilization that should play a much larger role in the world affair. Few countries possesses a more strategic location. Turkey controls the Bosphorus and Dardanelles. These narrow waterways connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean for countries like Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria. These routes are essential. This gives Turkey enormous leverage. It also places Turkey near Europe, Russia, the Caucasus, and the Middle East. In geopolitics, geography is destiny, and Turkey won the geographical lottery. President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan transformed Turkey's foreign policy. Instead of acting merely as a loyal NATO member, Turkey began pursuing strategic autonomy. This means Turkey increasingly wants the freedom to act independently. Turkey now sees influence in Syria, Libya, the Caucasus, Central Asia, and Africa. This approach surprised many Western allies. Turkey was no longer simply following the rules established by larger power, it wanted to become one of those powers. One of Turkey's biggest success stories has been its defense industries. For decades, Turkey depended heavily on foreign weapons, but sanctions and political disputes created an unexpected consequence. Turkey began developing its own military technologies. The result? The Bekarat drone. These drones gained worldwide attention during conflicts in Libya, Nagorno-Karabakh, and Ukraine. Suddenly, Turkey became one of the world's leading drone exporters. What started as a necessity turned into a strategic advantage. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Turkish foreign policy is its ability to maintain relationships with rivals. Turkey is a NATO member, yet it maintains close economic ties with Russia. It supports Ukraine, but it also cooperates with Moscow. This balancing act frustrates many countries. But from Turkey's perspective, it makes perfect sense. Turkey does not want to lose sides, it wants flexibility, and flexibility creates influence. Turkey dreams of becoming an energy hub. Pipelines carrying oil and gas from Azerbaijan, Central Asia, and Russia pass through Turkish territory. This gives Ankara another form of power, because in geopolitics, countries that control energy routes often gain enormous leverage. Turkey understands this very well. Despite its ambition, Turkey faces serious challenges. Its economy has struggled. Inflation remained high. Political tensions exist. Relations with Western countries can be difficult. And unlike the United States or China, Turkey lacks the economic size necessary to sustain superpower status. This creates a paradox. Turkey has superpower ambition but not yet superpower resources. Perhaps Turkey doesn't need to become another America or another China. Perhaps its goal is something different. Turkey wants to become a regional superpower, a country strong enough that nobody in Europe, the Middle East, or the Caucasus can ignore it. And in many ways, that goal has already been achieved because today Turkey has become one of the world's ultimate swing states. Neither east nor west, but something unique Turkish. For decades, Turkey lives in the shadow of its past, but now it is trying to shape the future. Its geography, history, military industry, and independent foreign policy have transformed it into one of the most important countries on earth.